What's up everybody, it's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech, and today I want to talk about my top 3 tips for making a drum corps drum line. And no, I'm not talking about the Couchman. Alright guys, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to make sure you get notifications of when I post new videos. I post videos about drum corps, drum lines, marching arts, things like that. And you would do that by clicking below the subscription button so you can get all that good stuff. And yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it because people seem to complain in the comments like, you talk about like subscribing like for 5 minutes. Okay, so it hasn't been 5 minutes, it's only been less than a minute. So there you go. Alright, on to the content. Here are my top 3 tips for making a drum corps drum line. This is coming from somebody who has taught at the drum corps level. I was on tour with the Troopers for 3 years as a tenor tech for them. My friend Wei Yuan Pan, you know, he marched Cavaliers and he was on staff at Pan Am Regiment. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about today has been in conjunction with exactly what me and him agree on as far as like what it takes to make a drum corps drum line. These are the kind of things that we look for. These are the kind of things that are important and maybe sometimes even overlooked. And maybe some young people don't fully understand because, you know, they haven't been through it. They don't know the process. So they think it's certain things and maybe, you know, they'll be going down the wrong rabbit hole. So that's the thing I don't want to happen. I don't want people, you know, like going down the wrong rabbit hole and kind of wasting their time versus focusing on things that are really important, that's going to really matter in crunch time when you're auditioning, right? When you're in front of those instructors who are looking for certain things, you know, for them to decide, you know, if they want you to be in their line or not, okay? So let's start with number 3, okay? I think the number 3 tip I would give you is marching. Yeah, so marching is a huge element of making a drum corps drum line because, you know, let's face it, you do a lot of marching in drum corps. A lot of your time is spent doing visual rehearsals, right? So like, you know, when I was on tour, I mean, that was like literally half our rehearsal time was just, you know, the drum line being in visual rehearsal, just working on the drill, just working on their technique and things like that. So that's a huge part of it. And obviously too, moving and playing. So can you move and play at the same time? Does that mean that, you know, your feet are perfectly in time with what you're playing? Are you in phase with everybody else's tempo? You know, when it comes to marching, how's your feet timing? That's all very, very important stuff, right? And, you know, when you move around, you know, can you keep your drum still? Can you keep, you know, the drum still enough so that it doesn't affect the beats, it doesn't affect your interp, it doesn't affect your timing because you're just so out of control, you're not able to control your body, you don't have that good technique. So when you're in your marching bands and high school, things like in high school and things like that, don't overlook the importance of marching and working on your technique, making sure that you're literally, all right, one of the best marchers in your group. And that's the thing you should be striving for. You should strive to be one of the best marchers in your entire marching band. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you think about drum corps is like the best of the best. These are the people who are the best of their programs, especially the really high echelon levels. I mean, like the high levels, like, you know, Blue Devils and Blue Coats and Vanguard and stuff like that. I mean, these are the best of the best in drum corps. All right, so you're talking about like, you know, if you're marching another drum corps, you're talking about like these guys are now the best of the best in their high school programs, right? So that's the kind of thing you're looking at, and that does hugely involve marching. So don't neglect that aspect. I think it's kind of underrated. I think that, you know, people don't focus on that aspect enough. So marching, that's a huge one. You got to make sure you have that down, all right? All right, so now my number 2 tip, okay? My number 2 tip is, I'm sure you've heard it a lot, which is preparation, okay? So preparation in terms of like, if there's an audition packet, are you getting access to that audition packet and practicing it and learning it so that you can be prepared once you go to auditions and the staff is expecting you to play the audition material. They're gonna ask you, do you know this exercise? Do you know that exercise? Oh, let's take it from this page of this packet book, right? All that stuff is very, very important. And yes, sometimes some groups will offer their audition packet for a fee. And, you know, some people are gonna be like, oh, I don't wanna pay a fee and stuff like that. Well, if you wanna make a drum corps, right, and there's a fee, that's the price of admission. That's the cost of doing business. If you want to be in the drum corps, it's going to cost money. Like there's I should talk about like a tip 2A, which is like being financially sound to be able to actually afford doing drum corps, right? Because it can run you thousands upon thousands of dollars. So, but in terms of just like, there's a fee for the audition packet. Like, you got to make that happen. You got to make sure that you get the audition packet so that you can learn it, so that you can go to auditions prepared, okay? And if there's no audition packet, you should be studying the drum corps you want to join, right? Whether that's watching past videos of them, watching their technique, trying to learn their exercises. And another tip I would give you in regards to this is try to see if you can meet alumni from the corps that you want to march at and see if you can get some type of material from them, right? Whether that's show book that they've been doing or exercises they were doing when they were marching, get a hold of that, okay? And I'm not talking about like, vets from like decades ago. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like guys who recently aged out, and like see if you can get music materials from them. It's going to help you out a lot. It's better than going into an audition not knowing any of the exercises, anything that they do, right? And just learning it on the fly. You want to be as prepared as possible, and that's the thing I'm talking about. Is like, what is your preparation level? Are you going in there ready to go, or are you kind of winging it and just trying to figure it out, trying to survive? You don't want that, right? Staff, drumline staff who are trying to audition people, we're not looking at the people who are not prepared, who are just kind of winging it on the fly. We're looking for people who know their stuff, literally know the audition materials, know the exercises, things like that, right? All right, my number one tip, okay, for getting into a drum corps drumline is the fundamentals, okay? Now, I've gotten this question before. It's like, hey Carl, to make a drum corps, what kind of rudiments do you need to know to be able to make a drum corps? And I think that question, or the answer to that question, is kind of a trap, okay? Because I should not tell you that you should focus on flam drags and cheeses and egg beaters and things like that. You're going down the wrong path if you're thinking that. If you're thinking that it's a certain rudiment. Let me explain. Take a look at like a drumline like the Santa Clara Vanguard, all right? And here's a clip of them right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what did you notice? What are they playing? They're playing a lot of rolls. They're playing a lot of diddles, some single stroke stuff, paradiddle-diddles, things like that. I mean, triplets, those are the kind of things they're playing, right? So if I were to advise anybody on a particular rudiment they need to have in order to march at that drum corps level, I would say focus on your diddles, focus on your diddle quality, focus on your rolls, your roll quality, focus on, having good flams, focus on having good height definition between axes and taps, focus on, the execution of upstrokes and downstrokes, legato strokes, staccato strokes, things like that, right? Can you execute those at a very high level? Because if you saw from that video, those guys are executing all those things at a very high level. We're talking about like the best drum lines, one of the best drum lines in the world right now. And they're playing rolls, diddles, right? So what do you think you should be practicing, right? Because here's another thing, okay? Let's say you can play a flam drag, right? That's great. If we're, a staff at a drum line, we're looking at, auditionees and we're thinking, okay, cool, you can play flam drags. But then you turn the metronome on and it's like, okay, now can you play those flam drags in time? Can you play them with good interpretation? Can you play them clean with another person or other people, right? Those are the things that we're going to be looking for. So if you can play a flam drag, it doesn't matter if you can't play it in time, if you don't have good interp, and if you can't play clean with others. Do you know what I'm saying, right? Can you play those flam drags while moving and playing, right? So like all those things are connected, right? So you need to focus on the right things, okay? The fundamentals. Can you play things in time? Can you play things with good interp, right? Those are really the underlying things that you need to be focusing on rather than surface level things of like, should I focus on a certain rudiment or things like that. Like that's not what you should be focusing on. What you should be focusing on is, good time, good interpretation, the fundamentals. You have good sound quality. All those things are going to be in your favor, because guess what? If you have those things down, when you start to play those rudiments, right? Like, flam drags, flam fives, things like that, like it's gonna apply, it's gonna bleed over into them, and then you're gonna play those rudiments at a high level. Even if, like, let's say you don't even spend a lot of time practicing them. If you have good fundamentals, you're going to be able to play those rudiments at a very high level off the bat. Let me give you an example. When I was in high school, I met a guy who was like literally one of the best drum set players I've ever seen. Yeah, now I know I was a freshman back then, but like literally, like other people would say, like, this guy is great, like for at his age. He's a drum set player, purely drum set player. He was playing drum set since he was like 4 or 5, I don't know, right? Really young. And that's been his thing. He's been playing drums his whole life. But he's never been in a rudimental percussion ensemble before. So, but he was really skilled. But then, like, he didn't know what a flam 5 was. He didn't know what a flam 5 was until the instructors told him what a flam 5 was and taught it to him. So once he learned it real quick, he had it, no problem. Why? Because he had good fundamentals. He had good skills. He had a good skill set around drumming in general, playing good time, playing with good interp, all that good stuff, and then just applied to, flam 5s, and you just get it so fast, so easy, right? And that's why I think people kind of skip through the process. They'll learn a flam 5, they'll learn a flam drag, they'll learn cheeses before they learn good fundamentals, before they learn about time, before they learn about good height execution, good stroke execution. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, so if I haven't mentioned it enough, fundamentals are going to be key for you to make a drum corps drumline. Any DCI group, it all comes down to fundamentals. All your issues and your problems that a drum corps staff member is going to be looking at is going to be related to fundamentals. Do you have those down? Okay. Now you can focus on those things on your own, or you can get help. And fortunately, me and my friend Wei Yuan Pan, we've created a program for you to follow along so that you can make the drum corps drumline of your dreams. The Drumline Blueprint is all about fundamentals, making sure that you are strong in those areas so that when you go to audition, you are ready to go, because like I said, you have that fundamental core strength in terms of playing good time, understanding stroke types, executing at a very high level. Okay, so click the link below if you want more information on that. It's gonna really help you out. And you don't wanna go to drum corps and drumline and get cut, right? You don't wanna get cut, okay? So give yourself a good chance and check it out, Drumline Blueprint, and I'll see you guys on the other side, okay? Otherwise, hopefully either way, you've enjoyed this video, that you got something out of it, that you learned a little inside knowledge into what we're looking for as far as what drum corps staffs are looking for, so that it'll help you out regardless, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button, all right, to let me know that you did indeed like this video. If you have any questions or comments, especially in terms of the process of drum corps and things like that, leave that in the comments below. If you have suggestions on a video I should do, leave that in the comments as well. And please do share this video so that other people, who may be wondering, have no idea, what to do as far as what to practice to get into a drum corps drumline, make sure you share this with them, all right? And finally, if you haven't subscribed, and like I said in the beginning, make sure you do that right now so you can get more videos just like this, talking about the marching arts, talking about insider information that you need to know if you want to do what you want to do. Okay, so cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And if you guys want to watch more, you can click over here and then subscribe over here. All right, peace.